Divisa Now, the number one place for news and politics. Hello, welcome to Divisa Now. I'm your host, Eddie Ranigan. Today, we'll be talking about the latest info about the upcoming election, as well as some speculation about the races that we will be seeing, and some information that you will find pertinent about them. Now let us start off with some information. The period of campaigning will be between Sunday, April 5th and Sunday, April 12th, for a full week campaigning period, and with the results being sometime later, and the actual election itself will be held on Sunday, April the 12th. There will be 3 races being won: the presidential election, the Senate elections, and the House election, and these will be running all at the same time. Not all parties will be running in the same races. For example, Foxhound might be running for the presidency, but not for the House or the Senate, or Action Division might only run for the Senate and House, but not the presidency, for example. But let us start with our analysis of the presidential election as it has come out so far. Now, so far we've only had one candidate announce that they are running, Carl Ainsworth, the leader of Foxhound Party, who today announced his candidacy with a speech in the capital of Nepravia. In the speech, he said that he would be fighting for liberty, free market capitalism, and a liberal order. He also believed in tradition and culture and a strong moral code, and that without moral guidance there is no liberty, and without liberty there is no morality. So that is the basis of his race. The main platform that he's running on is to protect the free market, to make sure that people are free to choose where they wish to work and to ensure that they can live as they wish to protect gun rights and to enshrine them within the Constitution, and to help charities and churches achieve their goals for tax deductions and exemptions to these organizations. He also announced his VP will be Jimmy, a former prophet who has recently returned to Divisa. And he gave a brief speech himself where he hoped for a Divisa where everyone, regardless of color, sexuality, gender, social standing, can have confidence that they can survive and that they can thrive. And so this pairing is an interesting one, probably not one many people are expecting, but they will probably give a strong showing. Other candidacies so far that we are aware is happening. The first one will be Neo, of the SGDA party we analyzed today, and he will be running on a more social market platform. So we do know Cal did ask Neo to not run against him to prevent spreading the vote, and then allowing a communist or a fascist president to take power. But Neo declined. However, Neo has not yet formally announced his candidacy, and nor do we have a potential VP for him. But we do know he's most likely running. We also know that the UWP are running for the presidency, but we do not know who is running yet, or what they might be like in terms of policy and demeanor and all that. So far, we just have Carl Ainsworth officially announced, but we do know more people will come forward as time goes on and we get a bit closer to the actual formal candidacy and campaigning period. One thing we do know is that it will be a most tense battle for the presidency. Action Divisa Party are also most likely to run a candidate, but we don't know who that might be running or anything about their potential candidacy because they have not said anything about it yet. And Action Divisa could just run for the Senate and House and have enough members to dominate them completely. More so the Senate or a very small House, and focusing one or the other, but they could do it. But I do believe that Action Divisa is most likely going to run for the presidency. The CRP and the DNLF have also not announced anything about a candidate running for president from their parties, but it is not exactly outside the realm of possibility. Stranger is probably the more likely member of the CRP to run, but he has not said anything about it and probably won't be for a bit of time. The DNLF, led by Wolf, could also run a president candidacy, but they have allied with Foxhound, so we're not sure if that is the case yet. They might be refusing to run against them to help balance out their seats and to not split any voters and all that stuff. But let us get into the House race. So, I don't believe that every party is equally likely to win this race, and I believe that most likely that larger parties are going to be the only ones running here. So parties such as the UWP CPD Alliance, or the Action Divisa Party, or the SGDA. Bigger parties will have a better chance at winning seats, as it is a whole country election rather than a single state election like the Senate races are. You also have to consider that the presidency has a lot more power, and will allow much more focus towards them than this House elections will be. So I think that Action Divisor, the UWP, CPD Alliance, and the SGDN are most likely the ones to run for the House, as more parties focus on other races that they have a better chance at winning. It should also be noted that the House has a minimum of 9 members and up to about 30, and so there's going to be a very tight race for who would actually win seats and we're going to most likely see a smaller House seat number for this election. So we don't know how it's going to be split up, but I think it's going to be split up between the larger parties, with the smaller parties focusing on the Senate race, which we'll be talking about here. So the Senate race is regions exclusively, so each state has their own senator, and they're only elected from their state. So, for example, West Stroudsburg will elect a West Rousebian senator, while UP will elect a different senator, and so on and so forth. And then I think the smaller parties will be most likely and have the best shot at winning here because each party will run for different Senate seats. So, like, the CRP might run for West Stroudsburg and UP, or Foxhound only runs for UP, and Action Divisor runs for other seats, and so on, etc. So, each Senate race will be much more, as there will be fewer candidates running in each race, as each party kind of focuses on the overall Senate to try and get more seats. You also have to consider how many seats each party can run for if they properly divvy up these seats. But whoever controls the Senate will have a strong control over passage of legislation. And I do believe it is easier to control the Senate than the House, which is why I brought that up. Because the House is a series of just a single vote throughout the country, and then it's divvied up, while the Senate is going to be individual Senate races. So if you want 5 people throughout the country, and then all those 5 people win, or only 4, then you have 4 out of 9, and you have a plurality in the Senate. But that is still yet to be seen about how each place will be running, because we have not seen a formal declaration of candidacy for the Senate yet. But let us end this discussion on the upcoming elections with a few things. Firstly, we have a live show that will be running on Saturdays or Fridays, depending on your time zone, and it will have everything from interviews to discussions about various topics such as elections, and like legal discussions about the laws that are being passed and discussed and various things, and will all be live. We also recorded an interview with Jeb of the Action Divisor Party, and that will be coming out at our first possible chance, but we have not had the opportunity to properly release the video. But that is all for today. I've been your host, Edward Rennigan, and this is Divisor Now.